What is going on, everybody? It is another person giving you guys a review of these meal kit services. I was hesitant to even do this video because the internet is so flooded with these types of videos, but since I am a patron of these products in the past, I still get my Factor 75s delivered to the house. Did a whole video, maybe should an update video on that. The point is, I use these services. This company, I believe, is owned by the same meal companies we're going to be talking about here in a second. It kind of made sense for me to do the review. They're offering me to kind of send me some food. So this is not a paid endorsement video, so it's not a sponsored video. I do have affiliate links, which I will drop them down below if you guys are curious of picking up any of these items you guys are seeing in this video. With that being said, I'm going to give you guys my honest review of these meal kit services, and we're going to cover about 3 different spectrums or ranges of these meal kit services. And if it's not too obvious, you guys can kind of tell, at least I can tell definitely from the website and the packaging, that these are essentially owned by the same company, but these are kind of 3 distinct tiers of their company. So I don't want to make this a super long video. You'll put timestamps down below to jump to certain sections about these various meal kits. I'll talk about their pricing, the quality, how they overall taste, how they rank with each other, and which one in the end I thought was the overall winner, because even though I felt like they were more or less kind of the same experience, definitely one stood out as the clear-cut winner, at least to me and my wife, so I'll kind of recommend that. At the very least, if you found this at all entertaining, informative, or somewhat helpful, please consider liking, sharing, and or subscribing. Let's jump into it. All right, starting off with EveryPlate, this would be like your budget-friendly box here. This is the one that's more catered towards kind of saving time, saving money. It says easy to cook, kind of more classical, you know, Western Americana type cuisine here, very basic stuff, meat and potatoes type stuff. Still, I mean, fairly eclectic. You can kind of branch off a little bit if you are checking out these menus here a little bit. But even the add-ons, I would say this is more kind of kid-friendly, more geared towards families a little bit. Just not saying adults don't like mac and cheese and tomato soup, but even some like the treat options, I think, are there more for families. When you get into like selecting a plan, you're gonna notice the template for all these companies are very similar, but limited on the preferences. But look at the meal selection with the discount code. It's roughly like $2 a serving if you use like some sort of promo code. Otherwise, full price is like $7. The shipping on this and just the overall experience on this is going to be very similar. I'm going to be saying that throughout probably this video. This one kind of comes in more like a box, a bunch of ingredients. Some things are going to come like pre-packaged in like little bags for each one, but this kind of gives you, maybe it saves money in the sense it just kind of throws everything in this little carton. Meat's kind of packed there on the bottom. This is the first dish we kind of tried, and all the things we kind of tried, guys, we tried to be somewhat selective on just stuff that wasn't too crazy, because we have kids, and a lot of kids, and it's hard to please everybody. So this wasn't going to be the case, but chicken, corn, hard to mess that up. This was good, and the kids liked it. I wouldn't say they loved it, that one, but that was definitely a good one. Kind of tasted how it looked. This day was crazy. We made two things in once. 2 things in one night. This was nuts. I would not recommend doing this. We're kind of out of town and made that sausage linguine, and I think it was a chicken sausage linguine, and then we also made these like potato wedges that had like pork. That was like pork right there. So a lot of stuff was going on there. A little chaotic when we made this one, but overall, there's kind of how they look and how they ended up turning out. Looks a little more yellow, probably just the lighting in my kitchen, but very good. Both those were really good. I actually liked that potato one the best. There's a decent amount of meat, I'll also say, that they gave you in this. Now going into HelloFresh, this is kind of like the mid-grade. You can see even the branding is changing a little bit here. A little more brighter, a little bit more kind of like greens you're kind of seeing here. And I would say this is right between the Green Chef and the EveryPlate as far as the cuisine. You got some standard American type, again, dishes like an EveryPlate, then you got some, you know, you can try some Middle Eastern stuff. Some like Thai things also are found in here too, but a little more vegetables you're kind of seeing. When you go to the payment screen, again, looks very similar. Now you got in the left-hand screen more preferences to choose from. And then the customizing your plan options, you can see it goes up a little bit. So the regular full price is $9, but with a discount, you're roughly paying like $5 or something. These beef flautas, if I'm saying that correctly, these were our favorite. This was our favorite thing. It's kind of hard to mess up Mexican food because our kids love Mexican food, but this was cool. It also taught us just a very simple technique I never would have thought of, and that's, I guess, one of the perks of using these things, which I'll get into here in a second. But you can see HelloFresh, they kind of come organized in these little bags versus EveryPlate was in like a box. So that's kind of nice. My kids are all over the place here because this was the first one we actually got, and they were all excited to see it, but that kind of waned very quickly after like the second time I did this. The meat was good. I thought actually the chicken tasted really particularly fresh. Something about the chicken just tasted really good when we made that, but the beef seemed like cheaper beef. It's usually like 80% beef, which it's not bad, but definitely a cheaper cut of beef. So a little more oil you're going to see as a whole. I'll mention that. We never thought about doing this. I don't know why we never tried this in the oven like this, but we're supposed to put oil on top, but we didn't, so I got a little more crisper. But these were excellent. These are probably the fan favorite. Everyone in the house liked these. These were really good. That's something we're going to repeat again. I kind of messed up with HelloFresh. My kids love noodles, and I got the vegan options, so I forgot to get, like, I thought this had chicken in it, but this was good. Pretty much tastes how it looks. It was something like kind of like what's an Alfredo-y type of flavored pasta, but really well organized. The kids liked it after a few bites, but after a while they kind of had enough of it. This was kind of a rich dish. I would pump the brakes a little bit on some of the oil, whatever excess fat was added into that, and I like that kind of stuff too, but it filled me up. And then we made another noodle dish. My kids love noodles, but they don't like tons of vegetables in there, so I kind of knew this was going to be probably a problem. But this was like a Thai-inspired noodle dish. Very good, pretty easy to make. Again, I hate to say it, but kind of tastes how it looked. If you guys like kind of Thai-type dishes, very tasty, very good. I wish I kind of had some meat to throw in there. And one of those I did throw meat in there. It was either the Alfredo thing or that one. We're on Green Chef now, and you can see also a little more, same kind of similar branding, exactly the same from EveryPlate, and not branding, but same kind of like website layout. And you can, what should pop out at you is like they're stressing the quality of the ingredients, more organic. You're seeing these unique type of more vegetable infused type dishes, more eclectic. You got some more Eastern inspired stuff, Mediterranean type stuff. That was really good. We tried something here that you're going to see that was delicious. These were, I'll say at the end, this was our favorite. Even the add-ons were a little more kind of more upscale. And even on the right here, when you're kind of creating your first box, a lot more options there on the lifestyle preference page. And you can see it's a little more pricier now. So you do get a discount, decent discount for sure on the just like using some sort of promo code, but then the actual price per serving, you can see if you're paying full price, is higher. It's like $12. So it really went from like EveryPlate from like $5-ish, and then you had, I think HelloFresh was up there around like 9-ish, and it's got to like 12. Packaged very similar to HelloFresh though, as far as individual bags. This was these like turkey inspired for the rice bowl. This was really good. So this was every single thing for me and my wife. We loved the Green Fresh stuff. This kind of blew it out of the park when we actually tried them. Making them look kind of like the same experience, but as far as the flavors that we had in all these dishes were awesome. I can't really say that for our kids. Our kids did not like the Green Chef options though. But this stuff was awesome. This one also was so tasty. The way the rice was made too. I don't know, didn't do anything super special with the rice, but sesame ginger, this was also good. A lot of vegetables, a lot of kind of roughage here going on. These chicken breasts were awesome too. I don't know if there's something different the way I uniquely cooked them, but those chicken breasts just tasted really good. A lot of roughage there, guys. When I made this, I'm like, doesn't look that appetizing, but it was really good with this little ginger sauce. Kids did not like this at all. In fact, I had clips that I might put in here what my kid said it tasted like, but he did not like it. Actually, this is the one my kids did not like, this Middle Eastern one, but they didn't like that one either though. So my kids are a little more picky, probably more picky than most kids, so they like just basic, steak and potatoes or meat and potatoes and noodles. So, but this was delicious. Now, as far as the overall experience and what our thoughts were in comparing these 3 different brands with each other back to back, also considering the 3 different price points that they're at, I would say definitely the overall winner was the Green Chef, but as a whole, the experience of getting the box, prepping the ingredients, and how they overall tasted, it was a very similar experience. I only say Green Chef kind of won out in the kind of the area of like unique recipes. Each of the dishes that we had, me and my wife both said unanimously, like this seems like the better kind of type of quality type of meal that we were having. I don't know, again, if it was so much the ingredients. I'm sure there was an increase in just quality. I know they have like more organic ingredients, but it definitely seemed like more the spices and the herbs, just how you blended stuff together, was more kind of a higher tier experience. I would say if you're thinking about dipping your toes in the water for the first time, you never tried these at-home meal kits, I would say for sure try EveryPlate because it is the cheapest. And I would say as an overall general tip, if this is your first time, definitely use some sort of promo code. When me and my wife order another thing of Green Chef, we're definitely gonna be taking advantage of that. So getting into overall kind of pros and cons about these services, the overall pro, it's fairly obvious, is the fact you get these ingredients, you're trying new things that you normally probably wouldn't try. You're not going to pre-portion all these different tiny things. And I would say it's definitely fairly affordable, especially if you take advantage of some sort of promo code. The other cool kind of pro about these services, especially if you're only going to try it one time, is that if you do like a particular recipe, you can save that recipe card and just duplicate it yourself later on. So there's a couple things we save that we know we're going to use in the future. We'll probably tweak it a little bit. And that kind of gets into some of the cons. I mean, the cons as an overall service, the thing I noticed across all these brands, especially assuming this seems like the same kind of company in the way they're they're doing things. Stuff just seemed a little more on the richer side when it gets to, the flavor department was there, don't get me wrong. Stuff just had a lot of flavor, but when it came to like making certain sauces or adding oils, it seemed that there was a liberal use of oils. So I'd be trying something, if my wife was making one of them, I'm like, this is really good, but after like a few bites, you could just feel like it was something that had a lot of oil in it. I'm not opposed to using oil and extra fats in a dish, don't get me wrong, but it just seemed like there was a lot of that, especially when you started making some of the sauces that would have like extra sour cream on top of other stuff that definitely kind of richer type of dishes, but these are things you could definitely kind of dial back. But I would just say consider that when you are putting together these recipes. And the other thing I'd say is that just me and wife said the same thing, that a lot of them seem like they're kind of undersalted, which I was kind of surprised at, because I think whenever I have my factors, it seems like they have a lot of salt. But yeah, just a little more on the undersalted, but that's probably something they assume. You can just always kind of add more salt if you guys wanted to. But this was definitely a fun experience putting together this video, so I appreciate you guys watching. I have nothing but pretty much good things to say about this. This would be a service or services I would recommend to people. It's not something I would say to do all the time. I think you get more out of it by doing it like occasionally, once in a while. I probably wouldn't appreciate it as much if I was doing it like every single week, but that's personally just me. If I'm gonna using something like a meal prep service, especially with like being super busy with kids around, I'm more likely to have like prepared meals being shipped to me like I do with the Factor 75. But these are definitely fun to kind of mix it up from time to time, especially give you guys some new recipe ideas and some things to kind of try. So hopefully this is an informative video. If you guys like this video, again, please consider liking, sharing, subscribing. And again, if you want to check out those things for any of these meal plate services or whatever meal kit services, the links will be down in the description box. Thank you.